I'm Dr. Asha Prasad, the creator of the Prasad Method. I do coaching and mentoring. I work with people that are really struggling through kind of getting in touch with their life purpose, getting on the right path, maybe wanting to be more aware, conscious. I work with people in a variety of settings. I work with people one-on-one, but I also work with groups, with their businesses and issues in their businesses, but also in their life. And that's why I think it's kind of cool that we're joining our forces
Yeah.
because you've got a unique set of skills as well, Steve. So tell people about what you do.
So I wrote a book called The Ripple Effect: Maximizing the Power of Relationships for Life and Business. I help individuals and corporations identify, develop, and grow the key relationships that they depend on for their success. That's my passion. So I do that through coaching, speaking, consulting. I have a number of different training programs that I've created over the years, but my true passion is coaching. And I'm also a tech entrepreneur. So I get an unusual opportunity to work with different leadership teams and get exposure to a wide variety of environments, both through my work as the tech entrepreneur and obviously through Ripple. And so I was super excited when we decided to join forces because we have
Mhm.
such a unique perspective. And you and I have been supporters of each other's work for a long, long time. In fact,
Yeah.
Asha was there when my book first came out and was kicking me in the butt to get out there and speak more and to talk more. And yeah, so I owe a lot of my success to Asha's encouragement early on. But we have been doing a podcast for, gosh, what, going on 3 years now, maybe 2.5, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
Called
exactly.
Conversations with Asha and Steve. And Asha is clearly the talent, and I'm the window dressing for that show. But
No, not at all. Not at all,
we
Steve.
have really good spirited conversations, and we've had a number of our listeners come back and just say, hey, we love the energy that you both have. And we started talking about the possibility of leveraging some of that energy into a coaching program that could benefit people out there that are going through a lot of things, whether they're trying to figure out where they want to go with their business, where they want to go with their career, what they might be struggling with personally. And so this program, Asha, maybe tell the viewers today what the program is called and kind of what it's about.
Yeah, so it's called the Mind Body Business Coaching Program, and it's really about addressing. I mean, one of the things that we're in a very interesting time right now with all the lockdowns, which I know some countries have loosened up. Where I am currently, they have not quite loosened up quite yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're in this unusual time, so it's kind of like, how can you really take care of yourself as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a manager, whoever it is, really. It's really about really addressing these three different areas because they all are related. They're all interconnected with one another. And if one is out of balance, your mind, body, or business, the others are going to suffer. And so we wanted to kind of, join our forces and be able to work with people and talk to people about how they can get the right mindset going, what things can they already do now. If you're finding yourself having a little bit more downtime, this is a great time to start implementing some certain things in your routine to take care of your mind, your body, which ultimately translates into your business and be able to go ahead and work on, your business in such a unique way. We're in such a unique time. You get to be really creative and expansive in a new way. And I know a lot of people are pivoting in their businesses. And I mean, it's from that perspective, it's kind of fascinating to watch. And we want to be able to help people with that. And that's what our program is all about. So you get the 6 calls, right? Six
Yeah.
coaching calls, 3 with Steve, 3 with myself, and then you get a bonus call, which has both of us on there. So I'm really excited about
Yeah.
that because that's going to be really beneficial for the people that we work with.
Absolutely. Well, and
Yeah.
we have a comment or a question in from Sally who asked, "Is this program only for business people?"
I think that that's a great question. And I would say it's not only for business people. I know, Steve, you have worked with, and I have also worked with people who are not owners of businesses. Maybe they are employees, or maybe they're not. I've worked with people who are not currently working that actually want to work on themselves. And so this program is for everyone. We have named it Mind, Body, and Business because we do work with a lot of business people, but I don't see it as only for business people.
Yeah, no, great comment, Asha. And I'd say, Sally, I think probably what we wanted to do with this program is actually give people, we want to meet them wherever they're at. And so whether that
Yeah,
is you are running your own business or you're an employee somewhere, we can touch on aspects of your career path or where you might want to go in the future, in terms of interest.
exactly.
It doesn't necessarily have to be career oriented, but we can certainly touch on those things. Asha and I have a wide variety of experience relative to that, but we really want to get inside, and help our clients, folks that are maybe struggling right now with where this pandemic leaves them, financially,
Hmm.
where it's really undermining a lot of people's confidence, and it's very demotivating, obviously, for a variety of reasons. And so we sense that this program can really be beneficial on a couple of different levels, right? We want to make sure that your mental space is correct, and you're focused on the right things that are going to keep you mentally healthy and mentally challenged, right?
Yeah.
That's important. And then we want to look at the physical aspects. Both Asha and I have been in quarantine. Sorry about that. I had an alarm go off. We've been on quarantine ourselves, and so trying to realize that we need to spend time focusing on our own health, because our physical health
Yeah.
parlays into our mental health and vice versa, right? So we'll talk about some of those things. What are you doing? How do you adapt healthy habits? How do you focus and pay attention to sleep cycles, and where you should be spending time
Mhm.
outside, at a safe physical distance from everybody right now.
Always,
But at the end
always.
of the day, being able to get yourself in a position where you can feel good physically so that you can, be in a good space to, ensure that you're at the right place mentally. And then, like I said, business doesn't necessarily have to apply one way or the other, but we've had folks that have
Right.
already inquired about, when I come out of this, what do we do? What do I want to do differently? Maybe do I want to make a career
Exactly.
change? Do I want to work with a different company? Asha, you'll probably find this interesting. I had a conversation this week with somebody that was talking about how their boss has, it's really showed them a really different side of their boss through this quarantine, because they don't see each other
Okay.
day to day, but they're on Zoom calls or Slack, and how they realized or came to the realization that this was the leader that they no longer wanted to work for,
Wow.
because of
Yeah.
how that person has treated them throughout the process. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So I think,
Yeah.
we can probably bring a lot of perspective relative to that. Are we aligned where we want to be in all levels, including where we spend our time from a professional perspective, if we happen to be in that role right now?
Exactly. And I think, you know what, Steve, that is really, it's true. Because you know what, actually, what we're going to be talking about with people and what we're working on with people is also, it's kind of like, giving them a roadmap for their life. So if you're not, if you've never thought about starting a business, for example, maybe you've kind of been contemplating it. And maybe, I think it's very interesting because in these kinds of times, we really get to see like the truth of things, the truth of what we really want. And like you were talking about the conversation that you had, what you don't want. And I think that's really important to be able to realize that and see that, so we can actually help people kind of get on their path, even if it is not in their own business or business related. Maybe it's really, you know, really starting like a brand new path in their life. So that's where all these kind of aspects kind of work together.
Yeah, no, great point. So we have another question in from Greg about, um, he's never used a coach before. It's more of a comment. Never used a coach
Mhm.
before, and a little bit concerned with how that program would work right now, especially being that we're all physically distant. So could you explain how the program is set up? It's good question.
That's a good question. I mean, well, one thing I would say, working with a coach, yeah, it's a different, of course, it's a different experience for everybody. It's really where you have somebody that you can speak with, that can reflect back to you, can guide you, can give you a different perspective, help you shift your perspective. So it's kind of interesting. It's a very interesting relationship that you build with coaches, okay, just in general. But as far as like with the physical distance, of course, this is the beauty of our time right now, is that, and in the last 10, 15 years, of course, that we can connect through the internet, that we can set up coaching calls from a distance, that we don't have to be physical to work with the coach. You don't have to be physically in the same location. In fact, myself and as well as Steve, we work with people all over the world.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty about the connections that we have, the possibilities with technology, is that we can connect and be able to support, even with support materials or whatever it is that we need to provide digitally. So that's a great comment, great question. But Steve, I have a question for you in relation to that.
Yeah.
How about for people that have never worked with a coach? Do you work with a lot of people that have never worked with a coach before?
I do actually. A lot of people that get referred to me are people that are somebody's recognized something in them. Either they are ready to take that next step from a leadership perspective, or
Okay.
a friend of theirs has worked with me previously, and they see somebody that's really
Right.
struggling with confidence or maybe going through a life change. And so
Yeah.
I've had a number of clients that have never had a coaching experience. And I always kind of
Okay.
started off at the same place. I didn't know what a coach was either before I took one
Mhm.
on as a business owner and
Right.
entrepreneur. And I hold a lot of the credit towards people like yourself that worked with me throughout my different entrepreneurial journeys to help me become a better leader, a better person, a better husband and father, in every aspect. And I think that there's always this trepidation when it comes to coaching because people don't know exactly,
Mhm.
how much do I open up? What am I going to
Yeah.
improve? Is this like going to therapy? Uh,
Right.
and the thing that I'd say about all coaching relationships is it really comes down to how intentional the coach is about helping you
Yeah.
establish what it is that you want to accomplish. And I say that really broadly because most people come to a coaching relationship and they're kind of trying to figure out one thing, right? And
Yeah.
generally, my experience has been, even for folks that have never gone through coaching, is you may start at the one thing, but you open up Pandora's box on a lot of other things. Like for
It's
me,
true.
a lot of my leadership challenges early on as an entrepreneur was my insecurity and
Right.
lack of confidence. And it was only the coach that kind of pointed that out in terms of blind spots for me and really helping
Right.
me understand what I was doing day to day to it wasn't proactively but negatively impact my work output,
Mhm.
right? The team that I was building or the employees I was trying to get to achieve a certain result. Those things weren't happening because I was working against myself in a lot of ways, right? I was trying to be
Exactly.
too dictatorial or too authoritative. And I was a young entrepreneur, so I think I had this concern that I had to act like I was more mature, more experienced than I was. And so it took that coach
Right.
really pointing those things out to me. And so I think in a lot of respects, for somebody that's never been through a coaching experience, you would never find two easier people to work with. I can speak
Yeah.
from experience because Asha has coached me, and we've been supportive of one another's work for a long time. But
Yeah.
there's zero judgment here, right? At the end of the day, we want to help you
Yeah.
accomplish whatever it is during this program or beyond. But the key for this is that you will find people that are really truly committed to being a good sounding board, providing some straight
Yeah.
up, well thought out advice, and we won't sugarcoat it, right? We'll tell you what needs to be said, but we'll do it in a respectful and honorable way, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what, Steve, it's interesting because we both have coached each other over the years. One of the things that's really interesting is that definitely working with somebody and definitely working with us, because I feel like we really get involved with our clients and we want to see them succeed in whatever it is. We want the best for them, and to really be honest and open and compassionate at the same time in order to give them the feedback that they need and kind of reflect these blind spots back to them. So then that way they actually can implement things in their life to make things different. So, but yeah, I was just thinking about that whenever you're talking. I'm like, actually, it is kind of neat to look at the fact that we coached each other for years,
Oh yeah.
and it's just kind of to see where we were many, many years ago and where we are now. And we're looking forward to sharing that with other people.
Yeah, the nice thing about where we come from is we are direct products of not only the coaching between each other, but from these
Right.
relationships we've had in other coaching relationships that have influenced and
Exactly.
impacted us. And I think one of the neat things about the coaching mindset is that you want somebody that's been there, done that. And both Asha and I are
Yeah.
successful entrepreneurs. We're business owners. We're leaders. We have probably seen and experienced hopefully far worse things than you will ever experience in your career in terms of, levels of mistrust, people stabbing you in the back,
Yeah.
business partnerships that don't go the way you expect them to,
Yeah.
dishonesty, all sorts of challenges, right? And a lot of that,
Yeah.
I think, brings to the table a lot of value because we've been able to see the truest senses of people's character. We've been able to be able to amass certain strategies and ideas that really help maybe catch some red flags that you may or may not be seeing in your own
Yeah.
career path or your own business. And so we just bring a lot of that, tried and true experience to the table in a way that is, I think, both engaging and fun, and is going to leave you better for going through this program, no doubt in my mind. So we have one more,
Yeah. I agree, Steve.
another question actually that
Sure.
was asked. This one is by Anonymous, so I don't know who it is, but thanks Anonymous for
Okay.
asking the questions, and thank you for those earlier questions as well by the other
Yeah.
folks. But this is why do you feel like you're qualified to be a coach? Well, I kind of think we just talked about that.
I think that experience speaks volumes. And in order to share that experience, I mean, if you have a lot of knowledge, gathered a lot of knowledge over the years and been exposed to a lot of things, I think the biggest disservice is not to share it and impart that knowledge and that help to help people maybe kind of get a faster track to their desires, to whatever their goals are, is just, that's part of what being a coach is. And I know for myself and for Steve, is one of the things that makes us qualified to be coaching other people. How about you, Steve?
Yeah, no, I think that's a fantastic response, and I mean you have a valid reason for asking because we don't know who you are because you're anonymous,
Yes.
but you may or may not know Asha as the podcast host of Conversations with Asha and Steve. You may not know us as entrepreneurs or authors of books or ever had a chance to work with us. You might have just hopped on to the YouTube channel today, so it's a valid reason to ask the question. I do have a question for you, Asha. So, what are you most excited about
Sure.
relative to this program?
Well, I'm excited because, working with people together, Steve, because we have two very, very different backgrounds and experiences and bringing that together. Like, I'm really excited to be able to help people from those two very different perspectives and see someone go through our program and actually, come out of it with more clarity, enthusiasm to get going in whatever their projects are. How about you, Steve? What are you excited about?
I'm most excited for people to experience both of us. Right at the end of the day, you get two coaches for the price of one,
Yeah.
and like Asha kind of has mentioned, right? There's two very different perspectives and two very complementary injuries, complementary energies that we bring to the table here that I think will not cause injury. I'm just going to say that right now,
Right.
in any way,
Exactly.
shape, or
No
form.
injuries.
But that we actually bring this unique factor to the table that is, I personally have not seen a program like this where you kind of have this intensive experience with two coaches that come at things with very similar but very opposite and different perspectives, which I think will open up a whole bunch of thought processes and ideas for those that take on the program. So I'm pretty excited about that because I think this is it's a unique offering, it's a unique aspect, and it's something that I think is going to be a whole lot of fun to do. We have another question in from Anonymous that just said, how much does this cost? Is it expensive? We don't think it is, but Asha, do you want to address that?
It's a great deal. It's for two coaches for 7 sessions in total. It's $316. And we have a money back guarantee after your first sessions with both of us. So no questions asked, no risk. If you don't feel like this is a program for you or you don't think that we're going to be able to help you in this, get your money back. So it's a great deal. And Steve, can you tell people how they can find out information? I don't know if you're going to drop the link.
But it's conversationswithashaandsteve.com. And we've got a little call out, to
Mhm.
learn about the program right there on the homepage. That'll help you learn a little bit more about the program. Ask a question if you have one, and
Yeah.
or just go ahead and sign up. Like Asha said, it's a no risk kind of guarantee because if you end up going
Yeah.
through those first sessions with both Asha and myself, and you're not happy with the program, then we'll return your money, no questions asked. But the reality is,
Yeah.
you're going to want to stay into this program because we are going to be focused on some things that I think are going to be life and career changing for you. And so we're super excited about it. But
Absolutely.
definitely check out conversations with AshaandSteve.com to learn more. Asha, anything else you
Perfect.
want to add before we jump off? Oh, we have one more question.
I was going to say, anybody has any questions, any comments, or anything like that, get in touch with us. Maybe if you are not familiar with us, it may be a good idea to check out our own individual websites as well, just to get a little bit more information about our backgrounds and the work that we're doing out there. So mine is theprasadmethod.com. And you can just kind of, look around there, see kind of what my work is about. And Steve, yours?
It's ripplecentral.com, RIPPLECENTRAL.com. We did have one additional question is somebody said, I'm not familiar with your podcast. Where do we find it? You want to take that?
Yeah, you can find us on, iTunes and Stitcher. We're everywhere. You can find us on there. And it's Conversations with Asha and Steve.
Yeah, an Apple podcast, Spotify, and
Yeah,
TuneIn as
that's
well. I
right.
just found out the show got picked up by TuneIn, which is pretty cool.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
so that's awesome. Well, we definitely appreciate you participating in today's, live stream with Dr. Asha Prasad and myself. I'm Steve Harper. We really, really appreciate it. We'll be back again at some point to, kind of do this again. We actually have started to talk about doing this as kind of a regular thing as to how we record
Yeah.
our podcast going forward for people that want to see it behind the scenes. And we're perfecting that process as we speak. As you can tell, there were a few audio problems today because Asha is clear across the pond in the Netherlands, right? And we're on this
Yeah,
utilizing Skype, which sometimes is really reliable and sometimes not so much. So.
exactly.
Yeah, but so far, this has been a great experience, and we're going to find new ways to bring content to you live and in person. All right, Asha. Thanks so
Sounds
much.
great. Well, thank
Appreciate it. That was
you,
another
Steve.
great conversation. So, all right, I'm gonna end the broadcast here.